a computer code. So it takes a lot of studying and a lot of understanding of how these algorithms work for you to be profitable, because it is extremely hard to just trade that price action without knowing and understanding how these computer algorithms work, how these market makers are taking the stock to this level on purpose so they can stop people out, meaning making them sell for a loss so they can buy those shares at a cheaper price, and then they run it all the way up, and people are like, oh my gosh, I just sold for a loss, and 5 minutes later the stock is at all-time highs. Mm-hmm. So that is it is a very complex type of trading. So when I started on Twitter, I noticed majority of the guys trading those, there was two type of people trading those. The guys with a large following on Twitter that if they post a tweet with the name of that stock can go up 50 cents, $1 just from that tweet if they have a big enough following. Okay. And now the other group of people were the new guys that were buying based on those tweets, but at the same time, the guy that posted the tweet was selling to them, because the way it works is those guys accumulate those shares. They post the tweet, the stock jumps 30%, and they start selling.
Pump and
so
dump.
The stock will go up 30%, and it will come right back down. So,
oh man,
yeah, it's terrible, and a lot of people were getting smoked. Well, they still are getting smoked because they don't understand that like the mechanism of how these stocks trade. Like there is a lot of factors. How much volume is the stock trading? What is the market cap of the company? What is the amount of shares available to the market? There is a lot of factors that come in place. So I started noticing these things.
What do you think their biggest mistakes when they're first starting out? Just like when you were starting out, you know,
jumping in the market, not being educated enough to take that risk.
Okay.
So there is something that most brokers have that is called paper trading. So you are trading with monopoly money, is how I call it. It's fake money, right? And this has become a taboo because people have been using that to post fake profits. But that is not the purpose of it. The purpose of it is for you to get familiar on how to trade. Yes, you will not have the emotional side of things because at the end, you don't have real money in the trade. But this paper trading will let you back test. So find a strategy that works for you. Day trading is all about data. It's all about collecting data. How successful is this setup? Okay, this setup over a sample of 20 different times, if you buy it here, there is a 78-80% chance that you will be able to sell it higher.
Okay.
So you have to find that edge. And pretty much that is done through collecting data. I told my guys all the time.
Data is the name of the game right now.
Dude,
collecting data, bro. Nobody understands that. Nobody understands that.
You have to.
That goes in every industry you're in. Every single one.
It's like what I tell my guys. Guys, the biggest market participant is computer algorithms.
Yep.
They are a computer code, meaning that they are a systematic.
And they learn. And it's machine learning.
Machine learning, and they are systematic. There is zero emotions on an algorithm. They don't feel anything. They are not human. So one of the downsides of an algorithm is that they are going to create a lot of repetition. They are going to do the same thing over and over and over. Once you find and once you realize that repetition is one of the biggest edge when it comes to trading small caps, you will be set. Like right now, there are setups that I can tell yesterday was one. It was like 9:30 in the morning, just the open. The stock was looking weak. I took a screenshot and posted it in the room, and I said I will be looking at this stock about 2 p.m. for a swipe, meaning for a run up.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hit
It
it.
was like 225. Stock,
Oh man.
and new high of day. And you're like, dude, like how, like like a freaking like genius or whatever. Like,
You got a
no,
wizard over here.
yeah, like, and
What are you drinking?
I tell my guys that all the time. I have gigs and gigs and gigs on my hard drives of screenshots of those charts. Every time that trade develops exactly how I say it's going to develop, I tell my guys, take a screenshot because you will see this a lot. There are trades that we can we can time the trade pretty much to a 30-minute range.
Wow.
I trade in the morning from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. After like from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. I call it zombie time. The volume dries up. The price action makes no sense because there is not a lot of market participants. The volume comes back about 2 p.m. My guys already know that X amount of stocks that are working on this setup in the first session, because I only trade from 9:30 to 10:30, they're probably going to come back and swipe in the afternoon. So we position ourselves as that chart is developing, and usually 2 o'clock, 2:30, you get boom, random spikes out of nowhere.
Wow.
But like, remember, it's an algorithm. It has behavior. Like that's something I talk a lot about behavior with my guys in the chat room. You have to be able to recognize two things: patterns and behavior.
Just like life.
Just like life.
Just like life.
Just like life. There are setups that we can be in the room. Yeah, right now they are probably gonna tank this, but about afternoon, 1-ish, 2 o'clock, they're gonna squeeze everybody out. Bam. And again, I'm not a freaking genius. I don't have a super crazy IQ. I'm just paying attention to the right things. That's
Exactly.
Just paying
Right.
attention to the right things.
Just a little more focus, a little more attention, a little extra time during your extra time,
Yeah.
That's all it is. And people don't have that patience, that understanding. And I think that's where you come in as well, because you bring that why, right? A lot of times those other people that you're talking about, they don't bring that why. They don't bring that why to the audience. Just like you post your ups and you post your downs, and then you explain your whys. And then you say, hey, take a picture of this because here's the why, because you're going to see it more often than none in the future.
Yeah, it becomes so obvious that I could be like, okay, guys, you're looking at this stock right now, how it looks. Now go and look at this stock, this stock, this stock, and this stock, and tell me what you see. Like exactly the same pattern. All right, okay. Out of all those stocks that I mentioned, how many of them ended up making new highs? All of them. Okay, so now you can expect this one to do the exact same thing.
Yep.
Repetition and behavior. Obviously, the rigor, which we call the rigor to like the algorithm, whoever is controlling the stock, it uses the same techniques, the same strategies all the time. Like something that is very funny, because it used to happen to me a lot. And it used to happen to a lot of people that came to my room because they realized that I could help them fix that.
Okay.
Getting stopped out for a loss. Okay. Getting stopped out for a loss. So when you're trading a stock and you're looking at a chart, you will have levels of supply and demand. Just like anything else in the world, everything moves based on supply and demand. So people place their stop loss right at support. Okay, right at support, because if it breaks support, guess what? There is no support anymore, so it can continue to go down a lot lower, right? Well, not really, because guess what? The algorithm knows exactly where your stop is, and if they stop 100,000 traders out of a trade, what is going to happen? That stock is going to go to a discounted price because everybody's going to get stopped, everybody's going to sell, and all that selling volume, the algorithm is buying all that up. They are using your stop loss volume for them to buy. And then they break that support level and they rip it back up.
Because they're collecting data.
Exactly. They know through data where is everybody positioned at. Like, okay, so this stock is $3.15 right now. $3 is a big psychological number because it's a whole number. So in stocks, whole numbers are big levels. So the stock is at 315. Where is everybody going to have their stop? Either at $3 or right below $3, $2.99. Because this is one thing that you will hear on Twitter all the time. Hey guys, don't post your stop at the whole dollar level, put it right below it. Well, so everybody now has their stop at $2.99, $2.98. Now you get that nasty candle that goes all the way down to $2.85.
Ooh.
Well, when everybody's getting stopped out for a loss, that's when we are buying. Because we know exactly what the algorithm is doing. So while
this is
everybody's getting stopped, we are buying.
This is awesome because this just shows, I mean, everyone listening to this podcast, you guys are getting so much free knowledge right now about stocks. So much. So I'm even taking notes too, so right? So again, just to tie it all back, it's the power of knowledge, right? So with the more knowledge you have, the better questions you can start asking yourself and apply it towards whatever you're doing, whether it's your passion, your job, your work, your school, your relationships, the people you love, whatever you want to create. The more knowledge you possess by collecting the data out there, the better quality questions you're going to start asking yourself sooner and sooner and sooner to get you exactly where you want to go. And then
100%.
again, what you're talking about, right? The system in the stock market. I used to have this problem just in life, right? About the system, right? Oh, it's about the system. You got to beat the system, beat the system. And the more you start becoming an entrepreneur, you start realizing it's not about beating the system. It's about becoming the best at the system. And Israel just proved that right now, right? Finding the pattern recognition within the system, finding the behaviors, anticipating the system's next 3 or 4 moves. And you already know that because it's a system. It doesn't have emotions. It can't have feelings to go say yes instead of no sometimes.
It doesn't change its mind.
It doesn't change its mind. And that right there, the simplicity of what Israel is feeding and transferring this knowledge to you guys right now is so simplistic, right? It's so simplistic. The stock market has no emotion. So that right there eliminates 50% of what you were thinking about the stock market right there. That's awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to share that, with the audience.
No,
that's
awesome.
It
is, dude, and that's one of the things that I'm like, it is so fascinating. It is so fascinating because at the end, the algorithms, like in the small cap specifically, they are taking advantage of people's emotions.
Yeah.
That's exactly on a baseline. That is exactly what they are doing. Yeah. They are taking advantage of fear when they are stopping everybody out, and that's when they are buying. And then what they do, they ramp it up, they run it all the way back up, and they start taking advantage of greed. Because as it's running up, everybody's buying it up while the algorithm is selling it back to them. So it is really fascinating because even though it's a computer code, it knows exactly, it's trading based off human emotions. And that's what I tell my guys. The most important thing here is you have to identify who you are trading against. The stock market is a zero-sum game. The money you lose, somebody made it. The money you made, somebody lost it.
Right.
So you need to be able to identify who you are trading against. What is that person or that algorithm doing? Now, you need to be realistic. I'm trading with a $50,000 account. I am not going to fight an algorithm that has $5 billion in buying power because he's going to eat me alive. in
Yeah.
2 seconds. So what you need to do is don't fight it, join it.
Exactly, right.
Like
Exactly.
just tell
Yeah.
them. It's like I tell my guys, just like when you are driving on the road and you got that fire truck that comes with the sirens on, just get behind them and skip the
Yeah.
red lights.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And I think a lot of people have that problem in the beginning of trading. They're like, oh, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it
Yeah,
my way.
yeah,
Right. Yeah. I was like that. I was like, oh, I'm going to do it my way. I have this loss.
yeah. And
Because you didn't have a system. You didn't understand it.
yeah, there is also another famous quote that says there are two types of trader: the humble trader and the trader that is about to get humbled.
That's true. Yeah. That's so humbling.
So, very humbling.
That's funny. All right, so let's jump into some of these questions real quick. Do
Yeah,
you need
let's
to
do
take
it.
a break or anything? You need
No,
some?
I'm
You need
good.
a?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. Let's jump into some of these questions. See what we got
Yeah.
here. All right. So I think you covered this one, but if you can sum it up in 1 minute, what is your mission as a human being? What's your
Dude,
mission in life?
so I think it is my honest opinion that we as people, we are supposed to share what we know with other people. So on a baseline, our main purpose as humans, as God would want us to do, is to help other people through our own experiences. Yes, you can obviously make money on the process because you are providing a value. But when you realize, this is what changed like my life pretty much. When you realize that it's not about yourself, it's not about what the world can do for you or what anybody can do for you. It's about what you can do for the world. The world doesn't owe you anything. If you think the world owes you something, it's probably the complete opposite. That is exactly what you owe the world. So my goal is just to help as many people as I can. As I've helped a bunch of people in the stock market community, and I just love it because I've seen people. I had a trader about 3 weeks ago that he left his job, a company that he's been working for like 20 years, making
Wow.
great money. He left his job, and for the last 3 weeks, he's a full-time day trader.
Wow. That's
And I've
awesome.
gotten more joy and more fulfillment from knowing that I helped that person through that journey than any amount of money can give me. Because at the end, materialistic things, they are gonna be super cool once you get it. 2 weeks later, it doesn't mean anything. You notice that with a new car, a new watch. As soon as you get it, you're gonna be super excited, super pumped. You want to show everybody. 2 weeks later, it's just a car. It's just a watch. But being able to help people and literally change people's life, that's priceless. And like I'm like addicted to that feeling
Right. Yeah, me
of
too.
being able to change somebody's life.
That's
Even
powerful.
through day trading, making people financially independent, people that can now leave their job and spend more time with their significant others, with their kids, have more money to do, take their family to Disney, whatever that person, whatever that is. But it
Spending the
changed
time with the people they
exactly
love and the
because
people they
it's
want to create positive memories with.
money.
Yeah.
The only thing that money is good for really is for freedom. It's freedom because you can have before I became a full-time day trader, I had a very well-paying job, but I was a slave to that job. They could call me at 3 a.m. and I had to pick up the phone because I was on salary. So I was literally a slave, like slaving for money.
Yep.
I would miss Christmas. I would miss my kids' birthdays. Like it doesn't matter because guess what? It can be my kids' like first birthday. If that job needs me, they don't care about my kid's first birthday.
Yeah.
So I think, and again, it's my opinion that on this day and age in 2022, there are so many ways that people could work for themselves. work for themselves. There are so many side hustles and things that you can do that you just have to find the right guidance, the right mentor, the right coach. Because, like I always say, if you don't know what you're looking for, you're not going to find it.
You're going to be guessing at life your whole life.
Exactly. You are going to be shooting with a shotgun in the dark, hoping you hit something. And a lot of times you won't. But once you see something that exists, you meet someone that has done it. Not somebody that you've seen on an ad. No, somebody that you talk to that is telling you how they did it. Now that triggers like a spark in your brain. They're like, okay, wait a second. This is actually possible. You know, I thought it was crazy, or even, you know, I couldn't even fathom making $100,000 in one day until I met people that make $100,000 in one day.
And it was like nothing to them, you know?
And it is nothing to them.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's like our biggest day ever.
Yeah. Because you tell somebody that has, you know, a normal 9-to-5 job making 50 grand a year, you tell that person, you make 50 grand a year, I can make 50 grand in a week. And what they're gonna tell you? You're full of shit. But you can show them, okay, so here it is. This is my P&L for last week. 50 grand.
Yeah.
Now their brain is like, whoa, dude.
You made it real.
Can actually happen.
It went from their thoughts to physical paper. Physical that they can hold it.
Something
that's the game changer.
Yeah, because a lot of times people just keep hearing about it, and you know, and they see it in movies and stuff like that. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street movie when this guy tells Leonardo DiCaprio, you showed me a pay stub for 70 grand and I'll quit my job right now.
Then he's on the phone. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny.
I quit.
Hey, I